Good afternoon, gentlemen. What's going
Check, check,
on?
check.
Check, check, check.
We're live. We're live.
We're live. Special broadcasting tonight. I'm up at Lake Washington at my cabin. You can kind of see some of the stuff in the background there. Appreciate everybody on the YouTube side on the pre-watch party. You guys are rocking it. I see the 25K Crappie Connections just blowing up. Carrie, Nathan, Mr. Ken, Jeff, Ken Walker, Shane Jones, Tony. Appreciate you, boys. Appreciate you hanging in there and joining us tonight. Got some cool stuff going on tonight that I want to talk about, and this is going to be episode about you guys, what you're seeing out there in November, any kind of questions and things like that you want to discuss. This is going to be the night for you guys. Be glad to help you out as much as possible. And even like I said, got some other news for you. But Dustin, we need to know.
What's going on, buddy?
We need to know.
What do you want to know? You're gonna make me tell you I didn't kill anything out there? Uh, it's been a tough season so far. Very tough season, but still after him. I'm not giving up till the bell rings. But I have got my butt whooped so far. Seen some great deer and had a good time though. So they say that's all that matters. But I love coming home with a big one. So I'm gonna stay after it until season's over.
Yeah, I had to put you on the spot.
Yeah, you did. You did.
You
Yeah.
missed last week on us, and but I did have the infamous Eric Cagle on here, so he kind of picked up your spot and ran with
Yeah,
it.
he did. I guarantee it. And congrats to them again. I sent them a text today, but congrats on that big win. That's pretty epic.
Yeah, guys, the program. Hit the hashtag 25K Crop Connection. Gets us rocking and rolling real quick, like thumbs up, all that kind of good stuff. Another thing I noticed, and I don't know if it's a Facebook thing or what, and it kind of makes me scratch my head, but it's like we're stuck on 51,000 followers on Facebook, and it'll go up for a little bit, go right back down, go up. I mean, I don't know what the deal is, but I can see who every time somebody likes a post or anything like that, and if they're actually following or not. And sometimes it'll show people following, then it shows them that I need to invite them. So if you could, guys, if you're on the Facebook side of things, make sure you hit that follow button and tell your buddies about it. I mean, this is what we're about: is sharing the crappie knowledge and getting these questions answered for you guys, and telling you about some new things going on in the crappie world. Mr. Stephen Sullivan, this dude has been rocking it too. You talking about somebody who's been just
I was gonna say, I believe he fished the Wally Marshall too and did pretty well. If I'm recalling right, I thought I seen him on there. So, Stephen, congrats to you as well. I believe he made it to the last day. I might be wrong, but correct me if I am, Stephen.
all right. Got some questions
Oh,
already going.
wow! Thanks, there. Dustin Shields said we lost 2,000 followers when Dustin showed up last week.
Uh oh.
When I didn't show up last week. That's what I'm talking about, Dustin. See, they bounced off thinking Brad got rid of me, but I'm back, and here comes the followers. We're going to be 52,000 here shortly.
We'll see. We'll see. And I hope that's the case. But uh, it's always a different week when Dustin's not around. Get to
It
kind of
just,
talk
yeah.
about it a little bit, and
Oh,
and all that kind
yeah,
of
I know you missed me. I could tell in your eyes when I saw you on live. I knew you missed me. I could tell.
definitely.
It might have been the internet cutting out, but we'll see.
Mr. Jerry Hancock, appreciate you coming in there.
Well, Steven did get six. Congrats, man. Sixth place in a tournament like that is pretty dang good. So,
I think second last weekend too.
did you catch black crappie, Steven? Were you on the black crappie train or did you go after the whites? Got to know that one. And then eventually we're going to be talking about Brad's trophy behind him because we got to hear the story of that. That thing's got some dust on it, Brad. We're going to have to relive that one.
Yeah, they do. They all got a lot of dust on them around here. I see this question and I'm gonna answer it because I don't want to get too far behind. I'm gonna handle you guys on YouTube. Dustin's gonna do the Facebook side of things with questions and such. But Mike, he's asking, what techniques would you say to restart with crappie fishing, and once so-called mastered, then switch to a different technique, going through the different techniques? Let me see if I kind of gather that question right there, Mike.
Yeah.
For me, I do a lot of different techniques, and it kind of really depends on the time of year to say, and uh, of what style I want to do. Who I have in the boat with me, and What I feel like is going to work the best as far as putting fish in the boat day in and day out. This time of year I'm doing a lot of long lining. I'm doing a lot of suspended crappie, one pole sniping, or what have you want to call it, long poling. But once you feel comfortable that, hey, I'm understanding what's going on with this technique, then kind of explore it. Take it baby steps at a time. And I tell you, a big mistake I think a lot of people make when they're trying to do a technique, whether it's shooting docks or pulling crankbaits or pulling jigs or anything else, is they think all the equipment kind of works the same. And my best piece of advice I would give somebody when you're looking at a technique, look at buying the best equipment that you can the first time. And I made the same mistake whenever I got in crappie fishing. I would say, all right, I'm gonna buy this set of poles and do everything with them.
Yeah.
Well, unfortunately, you don't get the really full experience of that technique till you get the right equipment fine tuned into the way that technique's supposed to be done. It's just kind of like if you're going to go chase these open water fish and you're using a 8 foot pole. It's going to be pretty hard to do, especially if the fish are spooky or anything else.
You don't want to chase. Yeah.
So I think it's kind of buy first, buy the first time equipment, whatever you're going to use, buy quality,
Do it right. Yeah.
designed for whatever technique you're wanting to do. Maybe that
I,
is.
my little touch on that one though would be all those techniques on mastering. I don't think you ever truly master the fishing technique. I don't think any of them are ever you're ever able to master them. It seems like every time I think I got it figured out or I got it mastered, I learned something new. Even on this, like with comments of people and learning more stuff every time we're on here, and just it's like at one point you would think you can, but I feel like I learned stuff, Brad, every
Oh,
day I go out there. It seems like, and then it's like, oh man, that you just add something to the arsenal. But I never really think I can master one technique more than the other. There's always better ways to improve and keep going.
yeah. I mean, it's that's the fun and the great thing about this sport of crappie fishing, that I don't think everything works 100% till it's every single day. I
Yeah.
think, and there's some days that a lot of different techniques actually work. From spider rigging to, of course, live scoping to casting to them, or going back to slip and bobber. So I think there's a lot of times that there's a multitude of techniques that work on
Yeah.
crappie until it gets a tough bite, and then that field kind of dwindles down.
Yeah. Now, when I get to be Brad's age and I'm well up there in the senior citizen area, I probably would say I've mastered it by then. You see those trophies behind him? He may have the mastered down. Crappie
Take a
mastered. What?
minute.
That may be mastered technique. I'll tell you who's mastered a technique is Brad with pulling jigs.
Uh, yeah, we've been pulling jigs over the last week, and it's
They've been
been
hitting
good.
them.
It's been good. I've seen some different
I was going to tell
signs that
you,
changed.
stroller, June
But
bug, chartreuse.
good one.
I figured that's what you were using.
I was definitely using the stroller. Actually, meteor shower was my best color over the last
Really?
up there, and I know Mr. Tony Van Norman. He was in the boat with me last Friday, I think it was. Tony. They always get kind of confusing here, um, but that was definitely the color for the past week. Has been meteor shower, which is a blue body with silver and blue glitter with a chartreuse tail. Just, I don't know. I used it today and caught fish on it as well. But things have changed that I want to talk about a little bit.
Uh-oh. So when you use this color, are you looking for a sunny day or a cloudy day, or does it really matter?
I think about this color here. It's a darker shade body,
Yeah.
and
Kind of got best of both worlds, don't it?
it's kind of got it kind of fits either way.
Yeah.
And I know you think the same process. We've talked about
Yeah.
a lot on here, but sunny days I like sunbait with a glitter on it.
Yeah.
It's really dark, no overcast, very little sun. I like solid baits
Yeah.
without glitter. So it kind of depends on the sunlight, but that bait there has glitter in it and a darker body. But
Perfect.
it's been kind of like the personality of that lake to say over the last month. That color there's just been solid.
We got a good fishing report in. Well, Wesley Miller, Big Sasquatch.
Mm-hmm.
He said, Louisiana fish report. I fished 5 lakes in the past 6 days and smoking them on the daily. Man, he's whooping them. That Louisiana fishing just seems to hit different sometimes. I tell you what, just seems like it's hard to not rip their lips off. I got to come to Louisiana sometime and just go bouncing around them things. You're making it look easy, Wesley. I'll tell you.
Wesley sent me a
He
Snapchat,
tell you it was. Yeah.
and it was just like a pack of crappie on his
Little
garment.
wolf pack.
No, this was like a wolf gang. Looking
It
like
was like a universe of them, huh?
yeah, it was just a wolf gang out there.
Mm-hmm. Are you casting to them, Wesley, when they're balled up like that, or are you dropping straight down on them? That ain't fair, but.
And look, you could have pulled them crappie too. I'm pretty.
Carl Dearman, he says, what is the temperature on Grand Lake? I'll tell you who can answer that. I haven't been on there in a couple days, but Richard Crawford can answer that, I bet you. And he's on here, I bet, listening. So he'll give us a Grand Lake fishing report here soon. He's been putting it on them. Grand Lake's starting to pick up. The bite's doing a lot better. Not finding as many fish, but the fish are starting to get aggressive and eat. So it's a win to me.
We had 72-degree water today.
Wow. I'm guessing ours is going to be a little chillier than that. Yep, 62 to 65. Thanks, Richard. I appreciate you, buddy.
I got a report from Tony on YouTube. Caught 40 black crappie, Blackshear, Georgia on Cajun Cricket Itty Bit, pitching to structure 69-degree water.
I was waiting for that color to come up. This was sitting next to me. It reminded me of Cajun Cricket. I'm new dad now. I'm new dad.
That's right. Jeff Marta, come on in with me. Another thing I've kind of set up, I've seen Jeff Marta and I think Lake Chico over there, but I've got a podcast I'm getting ready to record actually the next week with some of the Arkansas biologists and some special things that's going on over there. So, guys, stay tuned for that. That's going to be some good stuff. I can't wait to interview those guys over there about that.
Power Crappie checking in. Ken Robertson, he is in the house listening. We got Grenada is low and the spillway is running pretty fast. I bet Grenada is starting to get down there, I imagine. And we just had a ton of rain while I've been gone. We got pounded. I don't know how many inches of rain we got, but it was a lot. And I know the lake rose a lot too, and everything's muddying up. So I'm curious how that's going to affect the bite and how fast it's going to come down. So we'll keep an eye on that. Next Tuesday, I'll have a lot better report for Grand Lake.
Clay Witten on YouTube, he's asking, what's the preferred method? And I'm sure he's talking about live scope as far as the transducer goes. Transducer on trolling motor or separate pole?
We get that question every other show.
But I'll be glad to answer it again for you, Clay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm always a trolling motor guy. I always have been. It just seems like when you want to do the best, you got to be on a trolling motor.
For me too, it's going to be on the trolling motor. And I think about the reasons why, and that comes to my mind. If I'm got it mounted on a pole, I'm trying to control the pole, and also the boat.
Exactly.
So if I've got it on my trolling motor, I'm just trying to control the trolling motor and my pole instead of three things like it's mounted on a pole, on a separate pole. On the trolling motor, it's two, and then the separate pole would be three in my mind. Now, if you're locked down,
spot locked,
piling,
locked on one.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit different, and you could definitely do well with a separate pole.
If you're stuck on just fishing brush piles, that's a really good setup. You can go up there and spot lock on the brush pile. Your hands free, and all you're doing is using the pole to stay on the brush pile that you're spot locked on. So if you're just fishing brush, honestly, it is great. It's pretty dang nice to have that all just sitting there. You don't have to keep fighting it with your foot if you're fishing alone or whatever. So I'd say if you're just brush pile fishing and you just have one lake you go to, I would be putting it on a side pole mount. But if you want to move lakes and fish a variety of different ways, you got to have that thing on the trolling motor for sure.
Dean, he says he's power trolls out of the front 8 and long lines 10 out of the back. Keeps the girlfriends busy. Man, Dean, I bet that keeps a bunch of girlfriends busy. You're pulling 18 poles at once or pushing 8 and pulling 10 out of the back. I mean, I can see how that would just be, especially on a good bite, fast and furious. I can imagine how much fun it would be.
Chris Collins says, "Sup, fellas? Kept Brad because he didn't wave at me on the 49 49th the other day.
Yeah,
So here's the deal, Chris. Do you see those glasses on Brad's eyes right now?
that's right.
Okay. He may not have seen you waiting all the way over there.
True.
Richard, he asked, do I put my, well, he asked both of us, do we put our foot pedal, because you have a Garmin too, don't you, Brad?
Yeah.
Okay, do you put your foot pedal in the slot like your real seat, or do you keep it up, I believe, when he's chasing Roman fish? I think that's what he said. I lost it there at the end, but I keep it up on the top, and I have it pretty loose on my foot on the tension setting, if that's what he asked as well. But I like to just set it up on the flat so I can move it around or clients or whatever, just kind of, and whatever's comfortable on your foot. I'll slide it both feet. I use my left foot a lot and my right foot a lot, so I'll just slide it over and use both feet.
I see some more good questions, guys. I love them. Keep them rolling out.
For sure.
For me,
So many I'm losing them.
my foot pedal is extremely loose. I mean, especially when I'm out looking for open water fish, I want it to be able to move with very little effort, and then I can kind of flutter it back and forth whenever I'm really trying to fine tune where that fish is located at. So if that was the question, and I hadn't come across it, I'm always running behind you guys.
Yeah, and I'm losing some questions, so if I don't get them here in a second, just put them on there if you could. But Brad will clean me up here in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's Richard, if you were asking about tension, I have mine very loose too.
Mine's very loose.
The only thing I had a problem with on Garmin was it was the first few foot pedals I went through, I would wear them down to where it wouldn't catch up with the way my foot was moving. But I think they've got that fixed, so you should be good. I have went through a couple foot pedals doing that though. If you loosen it too loose, it's hard to kind of get it back.
Mr. Ken, your wife won't let you buy no more fishing tackle, man. What is wrong with that? And you're going to want to buy some more fishing tackle tonight, because everybody's been waiting on what I'm about to tell you guys here in a little bit. So you're probably going to have to get one more of those forgiveness passes once I tell you guys and set you up with a link for this. So you might have to get some more forgiveness when it comes to that.
Yeah, Wesley, several people, Stephen, they all do very light tension on their foot pedal as well. So put that puzzle together for you, just to FYI. And then Carlos Willis, he said, Brad, you remember pushing a 1/4 ounce jig in 2 foot of water in the spring, seeing that tip take off sideways?
Love it.
Won't forget it, will you? Won't forget that one.
Now, pushing quarters in about 4 foot of water was when I weighed 19.5 pounds out of Grenada. So
I was about to say that might be one of them trophies back there. Got something like that.
Yeah, that was 19.5 pounds out of Grenada, pre-live scope.
Marty Southard, he said he needs to get deep quicker, like quickly right now. What is y'all's go-to on a bigger weight jig head? Yeah, so if the fish are really aggressive, I would be throwing an 1/8 ounce or, just getting really heavy with it. But if the fish aren't aggressive, I'd just move the weight up top. I'd make it a 1/2 ounce. So just get a 1/2 ounce weight on the top of your jig head, and then you can launch that booger down there. And then lighten your line a little bit. If you have a real heavy line, it'll slow it down too. But I'd get you a 1/2 ounce and slam her down right in the head of that thing.
Brad, that's what about live scoping, suspended fish. My setup today, and I was fishing for fish mainly from 15 foot deep to about 22 foot deep. And I used a 3/4 ounce up above a 1/16, and I try to put that
3/4 ounce.
Yeah, 3/4 ounce.
That,
brother.
Yes, sir.
But I want that jig in the weight probably I'm gonna say about 16, 15 inches apart. That way these fish kind of don't identify the weight as the bait as much.
Several times I've had fish come up in clearer water, and they'll see that weight above the jig and turn down. You slide that weight up, and you'll catch a few more. So sometimes I can mess you up. Muddy water doesn't really matter.
Jeff McKee, in general, do crappie suspend more in the fall/winter versus the summer? Yes. In general, absolutely be yes in my mind. Kind of even going back to fishing the Barnett last week, this water's warmed up. I guess about 3 weeks ago, we had that pretty good cold front that moved through the area. And it brought a lot of fish off brush, and they started suspending real well. But as this water went up in temperature, those fish went back to cover a lot. And I'm talking about stumps and brush piles. And I fished Barnett, I don't know, it seemed like last Thursday. and those fish were on structure 100%. If I moved off structure, I wouldn't see anything. Look back on structure, that's where their fish were. So as it water gets a little bit colder, at least for us, these fish will suspend pretty much all summer long.
Yeah. Quick on the comments, guys. If you kind of keep up with the comments after you ask a question, because I've noticed like Wesley and a few people are helping answer some. If because
Mm-hmm.
I'll lose them, and then someone might answer that for you. And these guys are certified slab slayers, so you guys can definitely take that to the bank. But
Yeah,
I seen he was asking. It was hitting the top. He was having it hit the weight. Marty was having it hit the weight,
I got you.
and Wesley recommended you could put a heavy jig on top and a light one on bottom. Then you wouldn't have that problem. No weight without a hook, but you could also slide your weight up more. Make sure that jig stays in front of them. But if
Yeah.
they're running past your jig to hit the weight, we better be switching the jig or something to get them kind of to quit looking at that.
Yeah, typically when that happens, I'll use a heavier jig head on the bottom to get it down in front of that weight a little bit quicker.
That's funny. I would put one on top, but I forget you when you're casting. That's perfect.
Well, I'm not casting. I'm talking about actually, dropping down single pole and suspended fish. I'll move
So
up the weight and move up on the jig head that's, on the bottom.
oh, got you. I got you. Yeah.
And that way you can separate them a little bit more.
I got into the double jig system for a while, but I would run into if you don't net your fish, you got to be careful with that top hook. So I ran that in my hand a few times. I said, heck, I'll just go one jig. But the double jig does work good, and it's only when I was having somebody else, with the line swinging it to you. It's different. If you're fishing by yourself, you can definitely take care of it. Just be careful where you grab it. But having two hooks on there can be a little dangerous. Got to be careful.
Oh, this is a great question, and I know some of these other guys can help us out. Stephen, Wesley, Carlos. I'm sure there's a lot more guys out there as well.
Oh yeah.
But Seth is asking, do you regularly update your software when they release new updates? Typically, I don't.
No.
Now, if you need any kind of warranty work, anything else, they're going to make sure you're updated at that point. Now, if I'd start having glitches or something, I would update it. But if my
Yeah.
unit's running fine, I wouldn't mess with it.
For sure, I can agree to that. You're gonna really make fun of me, Brad. I think the system I got in 2020, I haven't updated one time. So we're on 4.5 years or better, and I haven't messed with anything.
Dustin, I told you you probably asked me 10 minutes ago, Dustin, but that was kind of the pattern on the res. They've been on the the wood here pretty hot and heavy for me.
Oh yeah, he asked for the pattern on the Ross Barnett. Yeah, Brian says buy a weight with a hook in it. I run those in the winter. They're custom made. I have seen those, Brian. There's just kind of like an eagle claw hook in the middle of a barrel sinker. But like I said, I'd be careful with that.
Man, and Chad's asking when I'm gonna come to Alabama. I'd love to come to Alabama, especially when those black crappie getting those giant schools. I've been telling Cagle that I'm gonna go over there and go with him for I guess about 4 years now and hadn't made it yet. But this year I'll be able to make it over there. Those big giant schools of black crappie are just something that's so fun in the wintertime. Blaine Salter, I got a report. Deep South Louisiana, fishing is popping. Reports of fish full of eggs are coming in as well with these chilly days, followed by 90-degree heat. Craziness. Man, it's craziness as always here.
Yeah, that's right. That's how this weather is right now for sure. We keep getting cold front, and then it goes right back to warm 70-degree days, and crazy.
Mm-hmm. You guys are rocking. 123 likes, thumbs up right now, guys. I'm ask you every week. If you haven't done it yet, go ahead and hit that thumbs up for us. Helps us out more than you could ever imagine. Keep it coming. Keep it rocking. If I don't see any more questions, I see a couple reports though.
Yeah, I was gonna say I got a good working man report. He said weekend warrior report on Sardis. Things haven't changed much. Fish are still active for casting. Came across a few fish that were moving slow that you had to hold it on them, and then it could have just been because the water is a little muddy. Fish are ranging from 14 to 20 foot across the Coles Landing all the way to Clear Creek. As always, the fish higher in the water column feed the best, 4 to 8 foot range. That's a heck of a fishing report for Sardis. You ought to be able to go to Sardis and catch some fish.
Yeah. And
I
Sardis is
appreciate it.
really good in the wintertime. Let me catch up. Another thing, guys, you've got, I've asked about these baits, these jig heads, and the good news is they're available right now. I checked again right before we went on the show, but the head turner, we're talking about some different techniques. The head turner is a bait that I probably worked on for 5 years and helped design, but casting to open water fish, long line trolling, it's kind of where this bait's going to go into. Real aggressive fish. This bait's, and Dustin even shot a video of it without a plastic on it, but it is a head turner for the crappie. They're sitting down there and they're kind of ignoring other baits, come across their head with a head turner, and they're definitely going to react.
I haven't seen it not get a fish reaction yet. Some are a little skeptical on when they're not aggressive, but they will always turn around and get fired up. It might even, you know what I haven't tried yet is this, like on top or bottom of a 2-jig system, and this really catch their reaction, and then have something else there too in case they didn't want
like an
in.
itty bit on the backside.
Yeah, a little something on the backside. That'd be a good idea.
And that bait as well, what I would do with it in the summertime that I've done, go up to a brush pile and they seem real inactive, I could cast over it, bring it back over the top of them, and you can see those fish almost turn and look at the bait as it comes by, and they can feel those baits come by them real good.
Dustin Shields, he said, when is Bobby Garland coming out with the new duster bait? I don't know. I need to come up with something. I need to think something up. You know, I got to help a little bit with the live roamer, and we kind of put our heads together with it, and I think that's one of the ultimate live scoping, dead sticking baits. But as far as the duster bait, I'm going to have to come up with something. We definitely do.
Mike, he's asking, what color jig should I use if the water looks really muddy? You know, for me, Mike, and it goes back to oranges. I love orange, anywhere from the horsefly, Cajun cricket, then also like the blackened chartreuse, the browns. So the bright colors, and then goes back into the dark colors, kind of goes with
pecan cream is a really good one. It sounds crazy, but that's a good dark water bait as well. And it looks like dark water, so don't ask me, but it works. Oh, Grenada Gold, Brad. How did we forget about that one?
Really?
Grenada Gold in muddy water is a bad boy. Brad showed me that firsthand.
We did the video with it, actually.
We did. Yep. YouTube video with it. Grenada Gold and the itty bit, man. We put it on them. Gray in muddy water. Wesley Mill says gray. Well, that would be the live minnow would be a good color there, then I bet. Which makes sense. I mean, they still got to see them bait fish.
Okay, it says Mike Williams also asked a question about his live scope. He said, also with the live scope on the trolling motor, what if the trolling motor is mounted on the far left side of the bow? You know, left side of the bow, you know, it's always going to come back to the trolling motor for me, especially suspended fish. As you're floating, or those fish are floating around, it just seems to me that it would be a little bit easier to keep your screen with the fish on there, even if it's mounted on the left side or the right side of the bow of the boat. It really don't really matter. You know, once you get it kind of, let's say, scoped in or sighted in with what your eyes are seeing and what it's feeling by the foot pedal. A lot of it when it comes to the foot pedal, and it takes a while to develop, is about the feel of the foot pedal. And a lot of these guys, if you watch them, they're not looking at the head of the trolling motor. They're going by the feel of the foot as they turn it. And they can tell, all right, I can see the fish is moving left because I'm moving my foot pedal back to the, let me see, down and back to the left. I can see it staying bright. But a lot of that comes with the time on the water, and everybody uses that terminology a lot. But
so when you push the foot pedal down, this is a little quiz for you. Does it go right or left?
Right.
I was gonna quiz people, Brad. You ruined it.
Oh,
But
yes,
that's when
me.
you know when you said it was going left. I'm like, I'm pushing my foot
I
down.
know.
I'm thinking, wait a
Uh,
minute, wait a minute. You
so
can
hopefully
twist
the
you
nails are
around big
in.
time. Could you imagine getting in a boat that it's opposite, Brad? A guy asked me that. He said, could you get in where it went left instead of right? Because I wasn't looking at it like you're talking about. And I'm like, man, it would throw me off so bad because you get so used to your system that when you jump in another boat or do something different, it's like you have to relearn everything. It cracks me up.
Oh yeah.
That's funny.
Another thing that just come out and then available today too was a new jig head. Besides the head turner, and it's the brush off, and it's made for brush, heavy duty brush. And I know Dustin's uses this jig head a good bit as well. But
Yeah.
kind of tell us a little bit about it, Dustash.
Yeah, I like that jig head. I mean, I used those without the brush off a lot before this came out, but this is just helping you on the retie situation when you're fishing dense cover. And I mean, it will go through dense cover. So it's a handy deal. You can put, I mean, anything on it and drop it. We've tried dropping it in the thickest cedar trees. I mean, we went out to Grand and dropped it in really heavy stuff and drug fish out with it, but we did not get it hung one time. So it's a pretty dang good hook to throw out there for sure.
Yeah, I mean it's a stiff piece of wire, two stainless steel pieces of wire. And I don't, I've got some in my boat outside, but
Ah,
um,
let's see
very
if I
stiff,
got one.
and you can just run it through the brush. And every now and then you'll hook up and get hung up, but for the most part, it's gonna let you get down and dirty with some of the brush out there.
Oh yeah, it's as good as any brush off jig. I mean, brush off weedless jig you've used. I mean, it does the same thing, but it to have it in that small a hook style is awful handy. They have them as small as what, Brad? Is it a smaller
What?
than a 30/32nd?
Yeah, so 1/50th.
1/50th. I mean, there's not a lot of them out there, so that's handy to have some. And it seems like the blackfish on like cedar trees or anything like that, if you can throw something super tiny that you still don't have to get worried about hanging up, it's pretty dang handy. So that'd be a good one for you guys to try, get in the arsenal. Here's another question about trolling motors. We got a lot of trolling motor stuff going on here. Brad, you foot pedal or remote? I already
I
know
use
that.
them both a lot. It
Yeah.
depends what I'm doing. Long line trolling is gonna be by the
Oh
remote.
yeah. Forgot about that.
Uh,
See, I use the remote a ton as well, brush pile fishing, just turning us, getting us situated, and then spot locking and all that. So I definitely use both as well. I've learned to use both. It's really hard to snipe fish though with it. So like just catching single roaming fish, I would definitely recommend trolling motor or the foot pedal on it. And then, do you guys did you guys put an upgraded bushing kit on your trolling motors to quiet down the squeaking and or use different props on your trolling motor? Here's a good one. There's a prop. What was the word? Doggone it, we came up with last time. The something wall, chigga wall.
Stephen Sullivan. Now, I think he's the one that actually helped us last
Steven
time.
Solomon will know, but doggone it, I forgot the trolling motor. There
No, I
is
don't.
there is a prop though that will make things go a lot smoother, a little bit quieter and faster. I haven't really tested it, but it seems like a lot of people have changed that know what they're doing about it, and they do really well with it. So, and Ken has one on his boat. We've used it on tournaments and done really great with it. So it's a blade instead of a two. Kipawall. Kipawall is what I think it is called. I think so.
That,
Kipawall.
that could be right.
Yeah, I'm one of a kind.
Might be right.
Kipawall.
James, he's asking from YouTube, am I still using the double itty bits like last month? Are you using large profiles when you're casting to them this month? So far, James, I've used more larger profiles. Today, my beta choice um, was the slab hunter, the regular size slab hunter. Like I said, these
That
fish,
time.
they're going about 15 to about 22 foot deep. I used a little bit bigger profile just so they'd recognize it a little bit faster. Um, if we got a big cold front and the fish are kind of hunkered down, they're not wanting to eat, I wouldn't put away the itty bits for the wintertime or anything. I'd keep them still real handy, but
Oh yeah.
on active feeding fish, I like to upsize my baits as much as possible. And a lot of times, to me, is it just generates a harder thump.
All right, we got a dang good little tidbit here. Lee
Mm.
Gilpin. Hopefully, Lee Gilpin. I got your name right, but dry silicone spray works wonders on trolling motor. I might have to put that to the test because I got a heck of a squeak going on mine that I might have to spray on it. So we'll see about the dry silicone. I might try to spray that on there.
Let's see.
Yeah, Kipawall. And then Marty, I haven't upgraded the system for the Trollo motor on that. I didn't even know you really could, so I haven't done that.
Jeff McGee, maybe some of these other guys. I'm not running an 8616. I'm just running 12-inch units, 126s.
Someone's running an 8616 on here, I guarantee it.
Oh, I know. We know Ken Robertson is.
Oh yeah.
We used his.
What did he ask about it?
Oh, I'm about to sneeze.
The
Sneeze coming
I
up.
thought he asked about the sneeze. Oh, you're definitely not sneezing now. We called you out. Oh, he got it. He got it.
Sneeze, half cough. Sorry about that, guys. He's running an 8616, LVS 34, 2 to 3 times per trip. My screen starts lagging. I power down and up my 8616. It comes back working normal. Is anybody else having this issue? I'll probably run an update on that.
Yeah, I would say that's something that's not to do with the unit, I'd say, but
Yeah, I would run a
factory setting reset maybe too, just to see.
I know we'll get.
Yeah, Jerry says it's in the transducer. I could see that as well. Could be the transducer, something wrong with it, lagging.
Matt, come on in here, Matt.
Yeah, Steven said he has the 8616, never had that issue either. So yeah, I would guess actually transducer could be it. If it's lagging, it just depends on what kind of lagging he's talking, but
yeah, Tony Van Norman, he's got some of the new Crappie Connection hoodies. I know quite a few guys have got them already as well. Dustin's got one probably in his mailbox. He ain't checked yet, but you know.
I'm going to check right after this, actually.
Crazy, but appreciate all those guys for those orders of the new hoodies, the sun hoodies, fishing hoodies. I absolutely think they rock.
All right, here we go. Taylor Olson, he's a guide out here around my area, actually. He said he had the same lag issue and replaced his black box, and it took care of the problem. He said his black box was 4 years old. So, how old's your black box? Maybe that's a problem. I know what will fix it, actually, though. If you go get a whole brand new unit, you'll be set. Stretch deucer cape. Okay, so transducer doctor fixed the last one. Brian said his was doing that, and his wires had stretched. His transducer cable stretched, so probably
couple different things it could be.
Yeah. I definitely would look into the transducer. If you have a buddy, one time I had a transducer go bad, but I was wondering if it was. I unplugged mine and plugged a different one in to see if it
black box.
Yeah, and then it could figure it out. Like see if it just switch them, see if your buddy's works on yours or vice versa.
Matt Singlet and Stephen Sullivan gave a great response to that question too. But since LiveScope's been out, do you think color matters more or presentation of the bait? And I'm gonna say presentation of the bait is definitely has to be the biggest.
But color goes into the presentation, though.
It does.
Color is part of the presentation.
It still matters.
Yeah, it still matters.
It matters.
Colors matter. But yeah, the way you present it is the most important. But it is part of the presentation.
Yeah.
I used to be all about color never mattered, this and that, but a few times it has. So when color matters, it matters. How about that?
Thank you, Brad.
When color matters, it matters.
Brad Dustin, you can say it.
Yeah, Brad put it to me one time on the color deal. He said, Just switch, and I mean, I don't know how long I went until I switched, but when I switched, I started putting on them. Of course, I front ended him, so he didn't really get a try in
I know,
catching.
very great. He was like the only child in the boat or something.
He got up there and caught one, and then he said,
I
"You
was
should
like,
try."
you think I'm guiding you all there or what?
Man, I know, and I didn't even tip you, did I?
No.
You tipped me though. You told me what color they were biting on.
It was fun.
That's funny.
Marty Perry's asking live scope settings. Man, that is a loaded question right there that has
Oh
probably
man, I bet out of 10 of us fishermen on here,
gonna be a lot of different ones.
I was gonna say 5 or 6 of us gonna have all completely different for sure. The good news is they all work and they all catch fish. So kind of mess with a few. YouTube has several different options out there. Mess with a few and see what works for your eyes, what you like. Because there is several. I've gotten on live scopes that there's no way I could fish with it a full day, and people do just fine with it and love what they're looking at. It's just all on preference.
Personally, me, Marty, when it comes to that question, I'm gonna use the filters pretty much either low or off all the way across the board. TVG,
Yeah.
everything is going to be either low and off, and sometimes you just kind of have to adjust it to that particular day. But for the most part, my TVG and all that's going to be off. Ghost tree off.
Noise reject, is it on
off.
low? It's on off. See, I do noise reject on like low or medium, and
Yeah.
TVG off. Man, yeah, it's just whatever you get used to and like. Steven Sullivan said he has a fish eat live on YouTube on the settings. Yeah, I bet there's so many good YouTube settings on that, but that's specifically for crappie fishing, so that'd be a good one to go watch. I mean, when Steven's talking about it, surely.
I see. Jerry Hancock profile more important than color.
Jerry has everything off. His color gain at 75% most of the time. Wow, he runs a pretty high percentage there.
My color gain's usually 75 to 80.
Yeah.
Philip Jasper, he says one of the tricks he likes to do is put a worm rattle. And we talked about rattles the other day on the show here. And I went through this afternoon and I'll actually look for some of the stuff for whenever we talk about it that we could show you guys. And so I added the rattles this afternoon. So I'll be glad to put that up there. Because there's a lot of work. Oops.
Do you still have any hoodies available? Crappie Connection hoodies available?
Yes, we do.
I don't know if you got asked that or not. You do? Well, there you go. Matt, you ought to just get a hold of him.
Well, Matt's going to fish with me next week.
Oh, well, there you go. He's wanting you to bring one. Did you tell him it's double the price to clients, though? I thought that was pretty cold. Brad, give me that other half, brother. Come on.
There's the rattle. Let me put it up there. Now I can't do everything.
Ken with Power Crappie. By the way, Ken, someone, I lost the name. They gave a shout out to the carnivore. They're loving the new 17-foot carnivore. He's whacking them on it. But Matthew Rogers has a good live scope setting video.
There's a lot
of folks. Oh, yeah, there's a ton. A ton.
Okay. Got a question here. 191 likes.
You, Brad.
We're almost there.
I'm proud of you there. Crappie rattle. You already got it thrown up there. Man, you're quick.
Had to throw it up there. Like I said, I spent some time. I've got really good internet here at the cabin.
You're enjoying the good internet, aren't you?
I'm loving this. This internet's so fast. I absolutely love streaming here.
You ought to just probably move over there, Brad. You seem a lot happier at the lake house, you know?
No, my wife's probably watching. You're just trying
Oh. Never mind. Miss April, I'm just teasing.
Yeah.
he wasn't telling me nothing. Oh, man. That's good stuff. I know you miss me, Brad. That's what you get.
Yeah. Let's see. What's a good tip to get past the small fish in a brush pile to get to the bigger ones at the bottom? I love the question. And I'm sure some other guys kind of helped me out with this as well. But,
brush off is one good one.
Brush off, get down there with them. But if you can't get past them, go up to this head turner. And one thing that I did notice, it will attract a lot of the bigger fish. Those smaller fish might be a little bit shyer, so get a little bit more aggressive with that presentation as far as the size goes. Go to a 2 inch or even a 3 inch. So I think that could help you out as well. Gary
So
Scott, yes, that was on Curd Lake when Color Matters, and it is on the YouTube video.
yeah. So Brad, when you want these head turners you keep talking about, what
Mhm.
website do you go to? How, if I want to buy them right now, where do I go?
You just, I got them in the links. I thought
Oh, maybe you did. I didn't see
I did.
that.
There
You're
you go.
getting way too fancy for me. How about this? If I wasn't looking at the comments, lurenet.com get you to those. Lurenet.com. Go in there and then you can buy all kinds of stuff. Live Roamer, Bleeding Shadows on there. Thank me later.
Thank you, Lex.
Yeah, Dustin Shilsey said, catch the small ones first. I about said, what's wrong with them small ones? I'll be ripping their lips till they get out of the way and then get down there to them big ones if you got some time. I mean, a throw net, you can actually now with live scope, you can land that throw net on top and them little ones will run out and you can snatch them out of the way and then start working on them bigger fish. Just joking. Total joke. Don't do that.
Okay.
Thank goodness Brad wasn't listening to my outlaw remark there.
Yeah, we can. There's a head turner coming back on there for you
Oh, okay. We're back, folks.
guys. Clay, up for a challenge. Come up with me to Lake Lamar Bruce and try to catch these very finicky crappie. Plus, teach me more about using live scope. Clay, the best thing to do is come down here, get in the boat with me, and
There you
we'll take
go.
you on the guide trip, and I'll show you more about live scope. That would be the easiest thing. Jonah, he says, the more filters settings you run, the more you're asking of your black box to do in process. I agree.
For sure. I'm seeing Cade Bray. Looks like a lot of people are answering your question. I did not see it, but it looks like a lot of people are on top of it. So if you just look in the comments, they're taking care of you.
Let me catch up with you fellas.
Dustin, okay, yeah, it looks like Cade was maybe looking for some crappie wisdom, and then people are saying a lot of them are saying hire a guide and put a lot of time on the water.
Yeah. Yeah. Where do you get started, man? I did a video that uh, put out in September this month about using live scope. And I try to go through in detail how I tell people when they get in the boat with me what we're looking at and kind of different things. So if you have not watched that video, I think it would definitely help you out, or at least I hope it would. But also, you know, find you a guide in your area that's using
Here we
livestock.
go. South Alabama is where Cade's from.
Yeah, I mean, Kegel up there comes
Eric Cagle.
quick.
Say no more, buddy. You call old Eric Cagle up. Tell him I sent you, so I can get a few points there,
There you
and
go.
then enjoy a fishing trip and ask as many questions as you can, and you'll have nothing but a blast catching a bunch of fish, and you'll learn a bunch. I mean, there'll be so much wisdom. If you were starting from scratch, there's nothing better than just hopping in a guide's boat. It'd be the best money you ever spend. You're guaranteed fish. You're gonna have a blast, and you get to learn. And then all it's gonna do is cost you way more money because you're gonna want to get your own boat, and you're gonna get your own live scope, and you're gonna go out there and start doing it yourself, and then realize we made it look really easy, and then just go back to the guides.
Joe Rogers
Maybe not.
got a good question right here. I'm finding crappie schooled up all over the lake, but I'm always seem to get in the small ones. Any tips of targeting bigger crappies in a reservoir system? I kind of seen that today, Joe, and I seen a lot of crappies suspended and they were grouped up together, but the bigger ones were either by themselves or they were paired up in twos. So I kind of had to get past the nice group of crappie, and I'm talking, 8 to half a dozen or a dozen fish that were swarmed together and just kind of wolf packed up. But today on this lake, and it was Eagle Lake, um, those fish were the smaller non-keepers, and maybe 20 to 30 feet from them was the singles, and that was the keeper style fish. So I had to kind of train my brain to look past that nice cluster of half a dozen to a dozen fish sitting together and to really look for
Man,
singles. But see
that'd
if
be
you can
tough
look for singles more than those cluster packs of schooled up crappie, and you'll probably find a better fish.
for sure. Yep. Tournament scenario, no doubt. Dustin Schultz says if it's more than 3, let him be. I like it. Looks like he may have ran into the same problems. Joe Pertinja, Crappie Ninja's in the
Oh,
house.
there
He
he
said,
is.
"What's going on?" His ears started burning a little bit. Must
Yeah, I think
have.
it did.
It must have been burning ears there, buddy.
Matt is asking about the population on Lake Washington. Matt, actually, the lake is so low. Yesterday, I was going to go fishing on Lake Washington, and it looked. I seen a guy in a bass boat come in, and it was literally 6 inches of water, 100 foot from the boat ramp, and I was not going to risk anything going out there in that low of water. My boat ramp's unusable just because it's so low. So the lake's extremely low. Uh, so I have no idea.
Joe, we weren't really actually talking about it. I congratulate you at the beginning of the win, being the champ, being the man right now. You're holding the throne, okay? You are the man. We need to get you on here so we can get the real wisdom of what went down at Table Rock. That's what we need to do. A
And I
little
know
shout out to Eric Cagle there.
he's got some funny stories too.
Oh, I bet. I bet. Man, that's nothing but a good time when them two guys are around for sure. I bet they had so much fun in that boat. It should have been illegal.
Billy Barnes, he says the challenge is for sure. Don't have a lake in North Mississippi that I struggle with. I hate that lake. I think he's talking about the one Clay Linton was talking about. Probably a lot of blackfish in there, sounds like to me.
Yeah,
Colder.
I was gonna say with those stubborn fish, it sounds like blackfish to me. Schools of
Mhm.
blackfish for sure. Jerry Hancock says y'all come fish the crappie fest on Lake Fork March 29th. Now that sounds like a dang good time too, for sure. Now is this the one you got to catch a 3-pounder, Jerry? I believe the crappie fest is to win it all or something. I believe, but it's a more like a one fish, like a big fish tournament. I may be wrong, but I bet Jerry.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Joe
You know,
said
another
you got to get me and Cagle on there together. We will. We need to get Cagle and him together for
yeah,
sure.
we think about some other good things, and Grizzly Jig Show guys. If you're getting into
Oh yeah.
and a lot of these guys, these hammers, Jerry Hancock, Joe, Stephen Sullivan, a lot of those guys will be up there at the Grizzly Jig Show. We'll be talking more about it as it gets closer. I can promise you, a lot of us will be up there. Great time. So if you haven't made plans yet, you better because it's always a good time at Grizzly Jig Show, and you'll get to hear more crappie fishing that you can stand. I can promise
Oh yeah. More than you want.
you. Jerry,
Okay.
the end of March for somebody that guides, that's a tough time to get away.
I know. I was going to say that. That's about the busiest time of year right there.
Yeah, I mean, if it was 3 Brads, I could probably guide 3 times a day.
We need to start making tournament season in the dead of winter, like in the coldest months. That's when we need to start cracking them. Just ice it. Well, not over there. You wouldn't worry about it, but I bet they're super deep and hard to keep alive too.
Mm-hmm. 207 likes. I know there's a few bit more people kind of coming and going. As you come on here, if you hadn't hit that like button, do us a big, big favor and hit that like button. A little bit more about the hoodies. Dustin probably has one in his mailbox, like we said earlier. That he's promised me
I'll have it on next Tuesday. Next Tuesday.
he'll have it on next Tuesday.
Joe,
But
the baby boy's doing good. He's doing good, man. I've been a stay-at-home dad the last couple of days and enjoying it. But pray for me, buddy. Pray for me. That ain't for the week. I'll tell you that right now. Ready for fishing season to kick back on up. No, I'm loving it though. It's definitely a change of life for sure.
February.
Ooh, 12 degrees. He fished a tournament in February. Man.
Yeah, I've been there, done that.
Yeah, and it, you know what? It's still fun, but golly, do you question what the me and Ken have been in some that we're sitting in the boat thinking, what are we doing? There's nothing better to do this morning than this right here. Man, that's funny.
I think
Oh,
everybody, even
Joseph.
on guide trips, I've done the same thing. Like, man, we're going to freeze.
Yeah, for sure. Joe said, I'll teach him how to shoot them docks. Joe, did you shoot any docks at Table Rock? We got to get you back on here for sure. We will.
I'm willing to bet no.
I know Table Rock has a lot of good docks with big fish in it, so I was wondering if they hit any up or if it was mainly just brush piles. But Wally, he may have another one on Table Rock, so you got to be careful. Careful what you say, Joe.
Seth, have you ever used a jigging wrap for crappie? I have not.
Well, it depends. Is that Brad? Is that not the?
I'm thinking he's thinking like either like a spoon
Oh, okay, gotcha.
bait,
Yeah,
a
I
hard
haven't.
bait,
I
or
imagine it would work for sure, but
oh yeah, on aggressive it's just about anything.
Dakota Griffin. You know what? Me and him went to a Kansas Lake. Man, I was first getting into this really, and we went out in January, I believe, close to my birthday, and it had to be. Man, I can't remember how cold exactly it was, but I do remember it freezing. I caught my biggest crappie, uh, and I can't even remember what it weighed, but that was the first time really getting into those things and learning what a big crappie looked like. He told me they were there, and they were,
Here's
but
a
it
great
was
question.
freezing.
Jay's asking, how do you tell the difference between crappie and bluegill on the live scope?
Ooh, ooh, I go. If they're on the same brush pile, because this will happen a lot at Grand sometimes, you'll have bluegill up top of the brush pile and then crappie under, and you can tell the size difference. And bluegill are constantly kind of doing a little bit more moving, and then they will charge the bait like they're the meanest thing in the world and peck you and peck at it and peck at it, and you'll see them all moving. So I kind of just read the live scope on that. The size of fish, crappie are way slower and lethargic on the bait, and bluegill are a lot faster and a little sporadic. But as far as size on the live scopes, what I do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most time I see bluegill, and I guess mainly because in the wintertime I'm targeting suspended fish, so I don't
Mm-hmm.
see them as much. But in the summertime, I'll see some piles that have bluegill on them as well. Typically, for me, they look like little bees almost. It reminds me of a bee going around a flower or something. They just seem like they're always just kind of moving around there a good bit. Every
For
now and
sure.
then, one to still smoke it and
Oh
shock.
yeah. Hey, it's a good fight. You'd be surprised how them little
Yeah.
perch can fight. I'll tell you, they turn sideways and get after it. Joe said they taste different.
Hmm.
Oh, you think so, Joe? You know what? A big shell cracker, bluegill, red ear, whatever you call them, those are some of the best eating fish there is, though. Really.
Nah,
Side note:
yeah.
a red ear is a shell cracker or red
No.
ear. It is sweet, tender, amazing meat, and I can't believe Brad's dissing them right now. That's
Mm.
heartbreaking.
You know,
They're better than crappie.
no, no,
Is oh, here we go. Here's a
no,
debate.
no.
Everybody that's ate perch on here, tell me, do you like perch or
Mm.
crappie better? This would be a good debate. I might be completely wrong.
Perch. What do you mean perch? Or
Like shell
he said
cracker,
brim.
red ear, perch. What do you call
Brim.
them? Brim?
Yeah,
Do you know what a red ear, like the shell cracker, is?
yeah.
That's not a brim.
That's not a perch. Hey, I
So
told you. Just wait till somebody
okay,
else tells you.
so let me ask you this. So you're saying brim? Have you tried shell cracker?
Yeah,
And is that the same? I mean, do you like it the same or no? You don't like shell cracker?
I'm a crappie guy.
Okay, I like it. Look, brim and perch. There, there's some people agreeing with me, buddy. You lose.
Nah,
Brim, look, see,
mm,
golly,
not me.
huh? I can't believe you don't like perch. If you eat them whole, they're even better. Their tail is like the best potato chip you ever eat.
Joe Rogers on YouTube. He says I do a lot of night fishing, typically single pole. Been picking off a lot of fish long lining during the day and want to give it a shot at night. Have you ever tried the glow plastics after dark? I have tried the glow plastics, but not a whole lot after dark. Most time, whenever I use the glow baits, is when I'm fishing either really deep or real muddy water. I like the glow baits then. Now, those jokers, the Moglow series, you hit them with a little LED light and put them in. I don't care where you put them; they'll shine like a falling star coming through the
Oh
night.
yeah, yeah,
But the only thing about long lining, I would say, is you would have to reel them in quite often to recharge them, to throw them back out to get that full effect of the glow. But
right. I've had really good luck with them at night, actually.
Mm.
In the summertime at Grand under dock lights, I've really killed them with glow baits. So definitely, and you have a little flashlight or your phone light in your pocket. You can pull out and just get it on there a little bit and pitch it back out. But it can be it can be good without the light being bright on it. Bless you, Brad, because I feel like the dock light was giving it more, like it was giving it the light it needed when it was dropping in there. But you
Yep.
could see it falling. I mean, the first foot or two, you could see it going down there, and it definitely works. It does work at night. Even an all black bait though, I did really well with. Is it called Midnight, Brad?
The black bait,
Yeah.
yeah, Midnight Sun was one.
Midnight or something, and that's a really good night bait too. Something really dark.
Charles Angel, man, he said, "What's up, guys? Missed the show, South Texas." Well, Charles, you can always go back and watch it from the beginning. But one thing you got to make sure you do is hit that thumbs up. Also, guys, like I said earlier, make sure you hit the follow button on the Crappie Connection page on Facebook, and also you guys on YouTube. We're trying our best to get on up to that step above 51,000 followers. I just cannot shake it, and I need some help. And you guys can help me get that over the hump.
I don't
Make
know. We
sure you
can't
hit-
help you if you don't like perch. We can't help you. I'll tell you that right now. Natural state fishing, though, he agrees with you. Crappie's better than any perch.
Yes.
Brim, perch, whatever we call them around here. Everybody has a different name, but it did look like you were outnumbered a little bit, Brad. But I'm not going to bring that up no more.
I'll count them. And
Okay, yeah, Steven Sullivan, he's fishing in the nighttime. He said he used dark baits,
Yeah.
black or purple. Purple's a good one too, and that would be hummingbird would be a great nighttime bait, I bet you, for sure.
actually, used Hummingbird today, some in the Slab Hunter full size. And
Oh, really?
yeah,
There we go. Linda, I appreciate it. We'll be seeing you guys next Tuesday night. Ricky, probably Ricky.
Make sure we get anybody else, but definitely appreciate you guys coming on here every week.
For
As
sure.
always, got a lot of good stuff coming on. Check out the new baits on lurenet.com. Don't forget to use your discount code Crappie Connection 15, get you 15% off. Had a lot of guys message me over the past week saying they bought a lot of good stuff off there. But use that discount code as much as you can. Save you a little cash, and let those wonderful guys and gals over at Fort Smith, Arkansas, at Bobby Garland, let them know that you're
Give
actually
them some love.
advantage of what we're doing.
Exactly.
It kind of
For
helps
sure.
us as well a lot. So thank you guys for
I appreciate you
coming
guys.
every week, and can't wait to do it next Tuesday night. I see one more question.
Uh-oh. Last but not least.
James asking, since can I get the orange head turner, which we will work on that. What color would you go to first? Would be chartreuse.
Pink head for sure, but go ahead.
Oh, Ty, I see you guys from YouTube keep chiming in here. I can't let you go hanging yet. First time viewer, thank you for joining us tonight. Hopefully you learned a little something about crappie fishing. If not, look about some of the older videos. We have some great guests through the years that's been on here. Got some good stuff coming down the line as well. And
Brad's open 24/7. His phone's on 24/7. He'll take a call at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. You guys just holler at him anytime, and then he'll revert to me.
I'll post a number up here on.
There you go. And if he can't answer you, he'll ask me. He's always asking me for wisdom. So if he can't figure out what you guys need, he'll get a hold of me. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, I got the control of everything.
We'll see you guys.
Till next Tuesday.
Holla.
Holla.